Good day everyone, I am Mr. APL and welcome to my classroom. For today's video lesson, we will have the VAT challenge. This challenge is related to our previous lesson about solving problems involving fraction, decimal, and percent. Let's start! So this is our VAT challenge. Number 1. Find any receipt inside of your house and find the following. A. VATable amount. In some other receipts, it is labeled as VAT sales or VATable sales. Letter B. VAT amount. In other receipts, it is labeled as VAT or value added tax. Number 2. Compute if you will get the same answer with one reflected in your receipt. And how we are going to compute, I will teach you later. By the way, I'm going to use these receipts from my sister. Okay? So, let us have the process of computing the VATs. Okay, so this is the first receipt that I'm going to discuss. I have cropped it so that I could be able to show you its details. Okay, so we have total amount. It's 809 pesos and 20 centavos. Okay. Another one, we have the VAT sales, which is 722 pesos and 50 centavos. It is called as the VATable amount or VAT sales. As you can see, the total amount is higher than the VATable amount or the VAT sales. And this is the 12% of the VATable amount or the value added tax. Obviously, it is lower than the VATable sales and from the total amount. So, let's compute. We will use the formula VAT sales plus 12% of VAT sales equals total amount. As you can see, if we are going to add this 722 pesos and 50 centavos and the VAT of 86 pesos and 70 centavos, we will get the total of 809 pesos and 20 centavos. Okay? So, value added tax is the 12% of the VAT sales. So, from the VAT sales of 722 pesos and 50 centavos, we will add 12% of 722 pesos and 50 centavos. Okay, so let us transform first 12% into decimal. By the way, that is the 722 pesos and 50 centavos, the VAT sales. So, plus 12% is 12 hundredths in decimal. And just bring down the VAT sales of 722 pesos and 50 centavos. And this should be equal to the total amount of 809 pesos and 20 centavos. It comes from here. Okay? So now, we can multiply this 12 hundredths and 722 pesos and 50 centavos, which will give us, just bring down this, and this will give us 86 pesos and 7 centavos or 70 centavos. Okay? So now, this is the value added tax. As you can see, they are equal because this is the 12% of the VAT sales, which is the value added tax. And this is equal to 809 pesos and 20 centavos. If we are going to add these two, of course, we will arrive with the total amount of 809 pesos and 20 centavos. So, since they are equal, meaning to say the process of our computation is correct. Okay? We will have the next or an alternative solution. So again, these are the parts of our receipt. Okay. So from our previous formula that we have used, the VAT sales plus 12% of VAT sales equals total amount. Okay. So as you can see, we can rewrite it in this way because 12% is 12 hundredths in decimal, and the preposition of signifies that the operation is multiplication, so that is why we have the open and close parentheses for the VAT sales. Okay, so what have you noticed about this equation? What have you noticed in this equation? So as you can see, there is a common factor of VAT sales. So if we have a common factor, we can simplify it by factoring it by the common factor of VAT sales. Okay, so we will multiply it by 1 plus 12 hundredths. And why? Because since the common factor is the VAT sales, and if we are going to distribute the VAT sales from 1 using the multiplication, VAT sales times 1, that is VAT sales. Okay? Then VAT sales multiplied by 12 hundredths, we will get this one. So I'm just showing that this expression is the same with this expression. But the purpose of this is to factor it by the common factor of VAT sales and to simplify our formula. Okay? So let us remove these writings. So from here, we will get, or we can just bring down the other member of the equation, or the total amount. So from here, we can add this to 1 plus 12 hundredths, that is 1 and 12 hundredths. Okay, I just add this 1 and 12 hundredths, and I have arrived with 1 and 12 hundredths. So now, this is the formula that I am going to use. Okay, so remember this formula because later I'm going to use it again. So VAT sales multiplied by 1 and 12 hundredths equals total amount. Okay, so let us now substitute the value for VAT sales, which is 700 pesos and 50 centavos. Again, this is our VAT sales, or the VATable amount. So let us put markings on it. Okay, so next, multiply by 1 and 12 hundredths, and that must be equal to the total amount of 809 pesos and 20 centavos. This is the total amount. Okay, so what's next? We can now multiply these two terms. The 722 pesos and 50 centavos multiplied by 1 and 12 hundredths, that is 809 pesos and 20 centavos, and they are equal. So meaning to say, our computation is correct. So let's go to the other solution. But I want you to remember this formula. The VAT sales equals 1 and 12 hundredths equals to the total amount. Okay? So let's go to the next solution. So from the same receipt, again, this is our total amount. This is our VATable amount, or the VAT sales in this receipt. And then this is our VAT amount, or the value added tax. From our previous formula that I want you to remember, that is the VAT sales equals multiplied by 1 and 12 hundredths equals to the total amount, we can manipulate this formula to arrive with the other formula. Okay, so by dividing it both sides by 1 and 12 hundredths. So this will be cancelled. And what remains here is the VAT sales equals total amount divided by 1 and 12 hundredths. That is the new formula that we are going to use. Again, VAT sales equals to the total amount divided by 1 and 12 hundredths. So let us substitute the value to this formula. From the given receipt, our VAT sales, we have the 722 pesos and 50 centavos equals to 809 pesos and 20 centavos because that is our total amount. And we will divide it by 1 and 12 hundredths. Okay? So dividing this, that is 722 pesos and 50 centavos. Okay? So once again, since this is equal to the VAT sales, the process of computation is correct. Let's use the other formula or let us use the other receipt. Okay? So in this receipt, as you can see, this is our total amount, but in this receipt it is labeled as total amount due. This is the value of total amount due, 3,490 pesos. And this is our VATable amount, but in this receipt it is labeled as VATable sales. Okay? Another thing is the VAT amount or the value added tax. So let us compute. Again, the formula that we're going to use, the VATable sales, and we will add 12% of it, and that will be our total amount. So what is the VATable sales? The 3,000 pesos and the 3,116 pesos and 7 centavos. Okay? Plus the 12% of it, or 12 hundredths in decimal multiplied by 3,116 pesos and 7 centavos equals to the total amount, that is 3,490 pesos. Okay, so we need to multiply this first. Do not add these two terms, okay? Because you will get the wrong answer. We need to follow the PEMDAS. Okay, so multiplying it, that will become 373 pesos and 93 centavos. And as you can see, it is our value added tax. Okay, bring down the other member of the equation equals 3,490 pesos. So here we can now add these two terms, and adding this, it will give us 3,490 pesos and equals to the total amount. And since they are equal, the process of computation is correct. Let us have the other solution. Okay, once again, these are the parts of our receipt, and we will use this formula. Okay, so you know already what happens. You know already why we have this formula. Okay, so let us now substitute the value to this formula. The VATable sales, we have the 3,116 pesos and 7 centavos. This is the VATable sales. Multiplied by 1 and 12 hundredths, and that must be equal to the total amount of 3,490 pesos. And multiplying this, we will get 3,490 pesos. Okay? Next, another solution from the same receipt. Again, this is the total amount, the VATable amount or the VATable sales, and our VAT amount or the VAT value added tax. Okay? So another formula that we can use, the vatable sales equals the total amount divided by 1 and 12 hundredths. So once again, you know already the reason why we have this kind of formula. So let us now substitute the given value to this formula. So the vatable sales or the total, so the total amount we have the 3,490 pesos divided by 1 and 12 hundredths. That must be equal to the vatable sales of 3,116 pesos and 7 centavos. Okay, so we can divide these two terms and we will get the 3,116 and 7 centavos. Okay, so again, you need to remember these two formulas. Number one, vatable amount multiplied by 1 and 12 hundredths equals to the total amount. But in other receipts, it is labeled as vatable sales. Okay, so do not be confused with that. Another formula is the vatable amount equals to total amount divided by 1 and 12 hundredths. Okay, so these are the two formulas that you need to remember in computing for the VAT or the value added tax on your official receipt. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoy learning about okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoy learning about the VAT challenge. And before I end up my video, I would like to give my special thanks to Mr. Elvin Dalican, and I hope you learned something. Goodbye!